Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. Today is actually 11 months on the Hebrew calendar since October 7th. Because it was a leap year, today completes 11 months since the tragic day of October 7th. What is unique about 11 months is, of course, in Judaism, we know that when someone passes away, we say Kaddish for 11 months, not for the full year. So today is the day that thousands of people in Israel are saying their last Kaddish for their loved ones who passed away today. And starting today, tragically, every day, there'll be people completing their Kaddish. Now, Kaddish is meant to elevate the soul of our loved ones. But I can't imagine us needing to elevate the souls of those innocent, pure, holy Jews who gave their lives simply because of their Jewish identity, or the heroic Jews who gave their lives, sacrificing it to rescue others. Those souls, our tradition teach us, become part of the heavenly throne of God, and therefore they cannot be elevated any higher. But rather the Kaddish is to elevate our souls, to be able to have some kind of a connection, a relationship with these pure souls who are in heaven in the loftiest, highest levels. This week's Torah portion speaks about the mitzvah of 3 times a year. The Jewish people were commanded to go to Jerusalem, Ole Regel. And it was a pilgrimage. Jews would all travel to Jerusalem. But in next week's Torah portion, we read about Ari Miklat, cities of refuge. Someone who accidentally killed someone and needs to flee to the city of refuge to find refuge, not just from the avenger of the blood, but from his own trauma. And the Torah says you should have signs along the way guiding people to the city of refuge, where the Levites would help rehabilitate them from the traumatic experience that they went through. And the question is raised, it doesn't say there should be signs along the way to tell the pilgrimages how to get to Jerusalem, but there are signs for the accidental murderer. Why is it that there are no signs for the Jews making the pilgrimage to Jerusalem, but there are signs for the people fleeing? And the answer simply is quite obvious. The people on the way to Jerusalem, they have time. They can stop, they could ask directions, they can mingle with other people, they could join other groups, they could wait up for others, and it would create more love and interaction and connection, because today we don't stop for directions, we have ways, but when you stop from directions, you meet people and you make relationships and friendships. And the Torah wants to encourage people to stop and ask for directions, because when we ask each other for guidance and we give it to one another and support each other lovingly, we build bonds. But the person who is running from their accidental encounter with death, they need to be able to run quickly and find refuge. And therefore every moment, every second is life and death, and therefore there can be no time, but rather just signs saying refuge, refuge. And the Rabbi says it's a very powerful lesson for all of us, that there are people looking for refuge in their life, emotional, psychological, spiritual, or physical refuge from whatever experiences they've suffered, that they need to find healing and comfort for. And like those signposts, every one of us has to be a signpost, guiding people, directing them, to give them their refuge that they need. This Shabbat, Palm Beach Synagogue hosted Menachem Kalmanson and his wife Ayelet. It's a very famous story that on October 7th, they left their families and went to Be'eri and rescued over 100 people. And tragically, his brother Elchanan died while rescuing innocent civilians. And his brother Menachem said that tonight will be the last Kaddish for his brother. And he got very emotional when he told me this, as he still lives with the terrible trauma of the events of October 7th and the tragic passing of his beloved brother Elchanan. And we want to be close to these souls. We want to be a part of their heroism and their courage and their sacrifice for the Jewish people. And that's why Palm Beach Synagogue is very blessed, because this year there's something called the Simchat Torah Project. We're in Israel, they're making 1,600 Torah covers, one for every one of the victims of October 7th, so that on Simchat Torah, the first year anniversary on the Hebrew calendar, we'll be able to, 1,600 shuls around the world will get one of the Torah covers to remember one of the victims of October 7th. And our synagogue requested the Torah cover with the name Elchanan Kalmanson, the brother of Menachem, who died at the age of 39 years old leaving over behind a wife and children, and he gave his life to save innocent civilians in Be'eri. And God willing, next week I'm going to go to Israel to meet the family, receive the Torah cover, bring it back to Palm Beach. And we're going to dress this Torah with his name and his memory on it. And we're going to hug it and embrace it and kiss it and dance with it on Simchas Torah. By remembering their stories and living by the inspiration of their sacrifice, we elevate our souls. One of the famous stories about the Kalmanson brothers was as they were clearing out civilians from Kibbutz Be'eri, they went from safe room to safe room saying, "We're here to rescue you, we're your fellow Jews." And when they came to one particular room, the family would not open the door. They thought they were Hamas terrorists. And Menachem told me how he started to say it's Simchat Torah. He was giving them all the signals that they're Jewish, but the family had so much fear they wouldn't open the door. And finally, Menachem Kalmanson couldn't wait any longer. Every second was life and death. There were terrorists, hundreds in the kibbutz. So he yelled out, "Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad." At which point the door of the safe room opened up and the family fell on their shoulders. They embraced them, took them quickly to their vehicle and rescued them. The cry of the Jew is Shema Yisrael, and the response of every single Jew is Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. With our faith in God, yes, these are very difficult times, but as long as we carry that faith, all the doors will open and we will experience true freedom, not just physical freedom from our enemies, but emotional, spiritual, and psychological freedom from all the trauma that we've experienced over the past year. And we will together find refuge. And the greatest refuge is the love of one another. Have a wonderful day. And let's remember all those who died 11 months ago today. And even if we're not physically saying Kaddish, let's remember that they are Kadosh, they are holy. And by lighting a candle for them, saying a prayer for them, or doing a mitzvah for them, learning Torah for them in their memory, we get the merit to be connected to their lofty and holy souls. Have a wonderful day.